number one best-selling product in the whole of Liberty Beauty.
Yes. No, not Beauty. Liberty. The whole store.
Bloody hell, that's amazing. Hello and welcome to today's In Conversation With podcast. I'm Georgie Cole, Sherlock's founder and CEO, and I am thrilled to be sitting here today with the one and only Bobbi Brown. It says here one of the world's most loved makeup artists. I mean, the world's most loved makeup artist. Even my husband knows who you are, which is saying a lot. You're also a business owner, a brand founder all over again of the brilliant Jones Road, which we will talk about shortly. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
There's a lot of ground to cover. You really are the OG, and I would really love to go back to the start and hear about how you got into the world of makeup. What was your upbringing like? I always think that's a really important question because it's such a fundamental part of who we are.
I was born to very young parents, 20 and 21. They were married, had me, and by 25 they had 3 kids. Gosh. We lived in the suburbs of Chicago, and it was just kind of a normal upbringing, nothing out of the ordinary. And I was a normal kid. I was a normal kid that didn't really do great in school because it was so boring. It was just, it was boring. And my parents tried punishing me for getting not a good grade, and they realized, let's just stop punishing her. She probably will never work, or she, maybe she'll be a mother and maybe a teacher. Well, they're right. I am a mother. I am a teacher, but I do work, mom and dad. But so it was pretty normal.
A boy with a career.
Yeah. And my mother really did the best thing in the world to me. Is she sat me down after my first year at university, and I told her I wanted to drop out. She said, "You can't. You have to graduate." And I said, "Mom, it's really boring." She said,
I did the same.
Yeah. And she said, "You can't. You have to finish school," because she didn't. And then she said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I have no idea." She said, "Forget what you're going to do to make money. What's your favorite thing in the world? Think about if it was your birthday, you could do anything." And I said, "I would love to play with makeup." She said, "Well, then why don't you be a makeup artist?" I said, "I don't want to go to beauty school." She said, "I'm sure there's a university somewhere." And I found Emerson College, where I studied makeup.
It's such an interesting conversation. I'm a mother of daughters, and my daughter loves makeup. Last night when I said to my daughter, "Guess who I'm interviewing tomorrow?" And she then proceeded to talk about Jones Road. My husband's surname is Jones, so in our house we love Jones Road. And we then had this conversation, and my husband was like, "God, her brain is just full of lip gloss," and I was like, "But it's a huge industry," and it's funny because I actually wanted to be a makeup artist too.
Okay.
And there was a bit of I don't know if you should, and Anyway, you are here to prove that it can be the most phenomenally successful.
Right. And tell your husband that if your daughter, wants to be a lawyer or wants to be an accountant, she could end up working in a makeup company. So at least she's doing what's interesting and not something really boring.
I know. She could have sort of, the dates of wars flying around her head or something like that. Or she could have something, maybe I'd suggest beauty knowledge might be a bit more useful. But anyway,
and whatever she loves, she'll excel in.
Yeah, I love that. Great advice. Yeah. So what year was it that you left university and started? Just to put it into context, how different the world of beauty was.
Oh my God, it was so different. It was I graduated in 79. I graduated college in 79. I waitressed for a year in 80, and then I moved to New York to try to get into makeup, to see if I can get... I didn't know anyone.
And who was in makeup then? In fact, even before then, makeup as a child, I mean, I was that child. Yeah. I was into makeup hours and hours, doing my nails and playing around. And Yeah, had that been you as a child?
Yeah, I always played with makeup, and I used to watch my mother, who was so gorgeous, put her makeup on. She was so glamorous. And I would be in awe of her. And every time I tried to do what she did on herself, I looked ridiculous. I didn't look glamorous and gorgeous. I just looked awful. So I didn't know, who I was going to be yet. I mean, who does when you're a teenager? But I used to always love putting it on just so I looked good. It just made me feel that I looked better.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And in terms of the industry at that time, so in 1980... Who were you looking up to, if anyone, in the beauty world? What did the landscape look like?
It didn't look like it looks today, for sure, even like it did in, the 90s. So you didn't know anyone. Like, you didn't know who was doing makeup, who was doing hair, until I read an article in Mademoiselle magazine about this woman named Bonnie Maller, who I can't believe no one knows who she is. She was a makeup artist that did all the makeup for Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, Perry Ellis, and she was a freelance makeup artist. I'm like, that's what I want to do. So I wrote her a letter, and I called her. She'd never called me back or answered me back. But when I moved to New York, I called her again. And her phone message said, if I don't answer you, I'm traveling, call my agent, Brian Bantry. So I called Brian, and he said, come in and see me. And I came in to see him, and he said, I can't represent you. You have nothing in your portfolio. And I said, okay, but how do I get things in my portfolio? He said, that's for you to figure out. and I did. I figured it out. And then he called me to assist Bonnie. And I did that for a while. And then one day Bonnie got sick, and he called me, said, will you come in and work with this photographer named Bruce Weber?
Wow.
I said, okay. I was a wreck. I was a nervous wreck.
Because you knew who Bruce Weber was.
I knew who Bruce Weber was. Yeah. And I was,
And what was the job? Do you remember?
Oh, it was probably like an Italian men's magazine. Like Talisa Soto was the model. There was some guys there. And I went to the studio. I was a nervous wreck. I probably tried every pair of jeans on. I needed the perfect jeans. I arrived at the studio. I took a breath. I knocked. The door opens, and there's a man with a bandana on his head, which is Bruce Weber. And I said, hi, I'm Bobbi. He says, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I've been waiting a long time to work with you. So immediately he put me at ease.
Wow,
he knew
what a
I was
great thing to
nervous.
say.
And then I just started working with him a bunch.
And did he know who you were?
I don't know. I don't know if he did or didn't, but just by him saying that,
Yeah.
like, I know when people are nervous to meet me, I understand the importance of making people comfortable. It's like, you know.
Yeah, you'll get the best out of them,
I'm so
won't you?
glad you're here. Yeah.
And going back to studying,
Yeah.
you studied makeup artistry. That was a
college.
course.
No, there wasn't a course. So this is also, now I know it's entrepreneurship, what I learned, because Emerson College in Boston said, sure, you can major whatever you want. You can make up your own major. And I said, okay, this is my major. And they said, okay. So I have an interdisciplinary major. I still don't know what that means, interdisciplinary, but I did it. I created it, and I did makeup for the school plays and whatever I could do, and I got credit for it. But I have a BFA in makeup with a minor in photography, and that's what I did when I graduated.
And did you learn anything there
No.
that you sort of carried forward?
Well, not makeup wise.
No.
I mean, I did makeup for the plays, so I would have to read about the character and design makeup for what they would be. So I learned how to make people old. I learned how to make people hungover and drunk. So I did learn, but I didn't learn the Bobbi kind of makeup. And so when I moved to New York, I didn't know anyone. There was no Google. There was no internet. So I went and got the Yellow Pages, and I opened it up, and I looked at modeling agencies and makeup artists, and I just started making calls and making appointments and going to talk to people.
And that's how you built up your portfolio.
That's how I started to build it up. And, you know, and got a lot of rejections. Like, you're never going to work because of this. You're never going to do this. And I would just keep going.
And even then, did you have, I mean, you've said the Bobbi style, you know, it is such a style. It's such a look. I mean, I so remember as a teenager it being, you know, when everyone wanted to create, that was how to wear makeup, the Bobbi Brown way.
Yeah.
At what point were you consciously following that?
Probably
or?
never conscious. I tried to do makeup like everyone else. Like, I remember I got hired to do a cover of Cosmopolitan with Jerry Hall. You know, she was as big as could be. She was married to Mick, and I was this young makeup artist with all my stuff. And I was a nervous wreck. I did her makeup, and she was so kind. She says, thank you so much. Do you mind if I touch it up? And I said, absolutely not.
Oh, no.
She literally redid her whole face, contour, the whole thing. And I just couldn't do that kind of makeup. So I started doing the bronzy look and doing my, you know, things. And people started to kind of like it. Like, some people hired me, some people didn't. And I remember a very well-known makeup artist said, you're never going to work if you don't do the makeup of the times. And I just started doing my own. And it slowly became popular.
And what did Jerry do? Did she put a red lip on?
Oh, there was definitely a red lip, and it was overlined, and there was definitely contour and lash, the whole thing. And it was amazing, and she couldn't be any kinder, and I just sat there and all watching her. Yeah.
Who else have you worked with that you look back
Oh my
that
God.
were really...
I mean, I did one of the Rolling Stones album covers, early on. I did a bunch of album covers. I got to do U2 and, I worked with...
that was a huge deal back in the day.
Yeah, it was a really big deal.
Bigger than a Vogue cover?
No, nothing was bigger than a Vogue cover. It took me 7 years to get the first American Vogue cover, which was Naomi Campbell. Her first cover of Vogue.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very, very cool
that was a big
coming
deal.
together of talent.
Right. But right before that was the biggest thing that happened in my career, which was this is years ago when Vogue was very different. I got 7 pages of American Vogue makeup, just faces. And it was Tatiana, this beautiful model, and showing different kind of looks. And that kind of put me on the map.
Is that right? I was going to say, is there a sort of pivotal moment that you look back on? It was that, was it?
That was one of the big put me on the maps, the Vogue cover. And then things are still happening to put me on the map. The map is getting bigger, but I keep having these things and I call my dad. He's like, you're not done. Keep going. You're not done.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Oh, I've only just begun again.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know how many Vogue covers you've done?
Well, that was my only American Vogue cover, but I've had many Vogue covers from all the different international ones.
You said before that you realised at 30 you didn't want to keep being a freelance makeup artist.
Yes.
A freelance traveling makeup artist.
Because I
Talk
was
us through that.
Being away from my house and my family just always made me sad. And then I met my husband and I didn't want to be away from him. So the big turning point was it was Bruce Weber asked me to do a 3-week shoot in Bali for my top rate for Ralph Lauren. And I struggled for a week deciding what to do and I turned it down. And I remember struggling with my husband because we needed the money. Like we were young and we just needed the money. And my husband said, just don't do it. It's okay. If you want to go, I'll support you. But if you don't want to go, we'll figure something out. And I didn't go. And
Do you regret it?
Not for a second, because, what makes me happy, even at the time, was being home with him. And we got married, I got pregnant, and I had an idea for a lipstick. None of that would have happened if I was traveling all the time.
And so this is at the age of 30.
Yeah, that was 30.
Can I ask you when you met your husband? How old were you when you got married?
Right. Well, I was actually 30 when I met my husband. We got engaged 3 months later. But I had just come out of a 12-year relationship. I dated one guy from 18 to 30. We broke up, and I thought, I'm going to be an old maid, and then I met my husband.
And you've got 3 boys?
Yes.
And when did you have your first son?
I just got pregnant on our 1-year anniversary, right around then. So we had our first son, I guess I was 32, and our second, I was 34, and then the boys were 6 and 8 when I had the baby. So I was 41 the last. So mama, 3 boys, 2 are married. 1 has a grandkid so far. And now the baby, as I call him, was 25, has a great girlfriend.
Oh, and you're a grandmother.
And I am a grandmother.
How cool to have Bobbi Brown as your grandmother.
And she chose a name for me, and it's Bibi. How perfect is that?
Love it.
Bibi. Yeah.
Bibi. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's something to look forward to.
I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure. They say it's better than having your own children and being a grandparent. You can give them back.
Yeah.
And you've got time and patience. And...
No, but you're focused because you're focused. Like when I had my own kids, I wasn't focused. I was worried about dinner and, all these other things I had to do.
Yeah. And having your children in your early 30s and your career.
Yeah.
How did that work?
It was a shit show. I mean, everyone's like, oh, it was nothing. I just was organized. No, I mean, it was either great or it wasn't. And what I learned, and hopefully everyone will learn in this situation, is you can't control everything. Some things work out great. And, before the pandemic, we all had to pretend that everything was perfect. And during the pandemic, you got to relax a bit. Real life became important. And I think that was a good thing for everybody.
I agree. So you talked about a lipstick.
Yeah.
The lipstick that sold millions of lipsticks.
The first thing I ever made was a lipstick that looked like lips because I wanted one. Because I used to take a taupe pencil and a little blush and a lip balm and mix it together. So when I met a chemist, I said, could you make this for me? So I made this color and I named it Brown. And by the way, when I launched the 10 lipsticks, I was an indie makeup company. Who knew? We didn't understand that at the time. It took 4 years to sell the company. So I had...
It took 4 years.
Yeah.
That's a way to put it. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say it took 4 years.
Oh, no. And it wasn't for sale. And back then it wasn't like, oh, let's do this so we could sell. We didn't have words like brands. We didn't have words like scale. We didn't have words like series A, B, C, D. Like, we just were these entrepreneurs that were, we could have owned a granola company, right? You just keep working and doing it. And
I think your margins are better in lipstick.
Much better. I've learned much better. But after 4.5 years, we did sell to Estee Lauder. We weren't for sale, but it was the right people at the right time. And I stayed 22 years.
And I wanted to hear about. Can we go back? Yeah. So this first lipstick, brown.
Yeah.
You launched when?
1990. Well, 1991 was Bergdorf Goodman, and we launched at Bergdorf Goodman not because I was so fabulous that I had this strategy, because I met a woman and I asked her what she did, and she told me she was a cosmetics buyer at Bergdorf Goodman. And that's how we got into Bergdorf Goodman.
I see. How many shades?
10.
10 shades?
10 shades.
I read you thought you'd sell
100 the first month, and we sold it the first day.
How did you sell them the first day?
I invited all my friends that were models. I invited my family. And it turns out people, I guess, heard about us, and they were coming in buying all 10. I think the competitive companies came in and bought them. But a sale's a sale, and it was a good start.
Can you tell us about those early years, the evolution of, well, how do you go from 10 lipsticks into what you then sold to Estee Lauder for a huge amount of money?
Yeah.
Can you just talk us through? I mean, I feel like we could be here for hours. I'd want to hear for hours, but summarize that. Talk us through some key moments in that period.
I get bored really easily. So I'd be at work and I'd be thinking about what this could be, and I'd be, mixing and blending and calling the agent, and you're probably too young too, but we had beepers to get your messages. You had to go on a phone and listen to the messages
through
this. Yeah, it wasn't a page, it was a beeper. Right. It was just and so I would be working while I was on set, making sure I was paying attention to the model, and doing this thing. I've always done more than one thing at the same time. It's one of my superpowers. And
I think it's called being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, kind of blows your brain cells out sometimes, but you do the best you can. And then I started, just talking about them. And my friend said, can I write about them? She was a beauty editor at Glamour. She wrote about them. And then other people started writing about them. And then, we added lip pencils because that's easy. I said, let's do lip pencils the color of the lipsticks. We had 10 amazing color lipsticks. Then I was somewhere and I talked to some nice little old lady about her makeup problem she was having. And she told me she loved seeing me on the Today Show. I'd been on once. And she said, is there anything else you'd want to do in your life? I said, I'd love to be a regular. She said, honey, Jeff Zucker is my grandson. He was the executive producer. So I became the beauty editor of the Today Show.
Did you?
Just because I met Grandma Fran.
Oh, I didn't know.
For 14 years. So I would go on once a month being a teacher. I didn't talk about my makeup. I didn't,
On the Today Show, it was sort of like tips and...
You'd get 3.5 to 5 minutes. And, my only goal was to have a takeaway. So someone learns something, how to really line your eye. It wasn't just about, here's all these colors, look. No, I wanted to teach something every month.
So you did that, and that obviously was great exposure for
and that really put the brand
your profile
on the map. I was already with Estee Lauder when that happened. When they bought us, we didn't have foundations, we didn't have brushes, we didn't have moisturizers.
What did you have when
we had lipsticks, we had lip pencils, we had eye pencils. I know we didn't have a mascara. We had probably powder blushes, and then we had to do brushes, and it was slow.
And in terms of your distribution, so you started in Bergdorf's.
And Bergdorf's sister brand is Neiman Marcus, so it was Bergdorf Neiman's. And then we, after that, it was years before we moved to, then it's Saks. So it was the high-end brands. And then eventually, I guess we went to Nordstrom. While I was there, I think they just went to Macy's. That was kind of the lowest one.
So you're developing all these products.
Yeah.
And you're very much the developer of these products, right?
I have a team of product development, but I'm the one that says what we want, and they show me things, and I'm like, no, do this. And we should call it this. And, I have this idea for a gel liner and like all these things. So I just had my little team to help me do things.
And as well as that, you're also still
a makeup artist.
The makeup artist.
And I'm on the Today Show.
And a mother of 3.
And a mother of 3. And of course,
and a wife.
The class mom. Because why wouldn't I raise my hand? And it was so stressful. That was the most stressful.
That is lunatic behavior. No, I honestly...
And I started working from home on Mondays and Fridays so I can go in and volunteer in the school. Stop. Yeah, I didn't ask permission. I just did it.
Gosh. Yeah. Mad. I do look at mothers running their own businesses who are class reps, and I'm like, you're amazing and you're a lunatic.
But it was hard for me because I don't know how to type. Like, I've written 9 books and I don't know how to type.
You've written 9 books?
Yeah, I don't know how to type. It's like...
Dictaphone?
No, pen. And now it's the greatest thing. I've learned how to press the little microphone. Yeah. And I speak it, and then I print it out. I take a pen, I correct it, and then I re-speak it, and then I send it to someone to put up.
So can we talk about Lauder more and how that happened? Was it a partnership at first? Was it transactional straight away? How did that come about?
Well, one day I got a call from the hairdresser Frederick Fakai, who said, I can't do a French accent, so I won't try. He said, Mr. Lauder would like to meet you. And I was like, really? And I said, okay. So he put us together, and Leonard asked me to come to his apartment, which I did. And we weren't for sale. We weren't looking. We didn't know what a VC was back then. We didn't know, any of that. But we went to his apartment, and he said, you're beating us in the store. I'm a huge fan, and I'd love to buy you.
Can you talk numbers?
I don't remember the numbers. I'm really bad with numbers.
And you sold for...
If you Google it, it says 70 million.
Yeah.
But there was an earn out. So by the, and we had partners. So, we split it, but then there was a 25-year earn out.
25 years?
Tied to my non-compete, yes. I had a 25-year non-compete and a 25-year earn out.
25 years, blimey.
Yeah.
It's quite a non-compete.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were doing what? Turnover of several million US dollars?
Yeah, when I left the brand, I know it was $1 billion brand.
It was $1 billion brand when you left.
Right, when I left the
brand.
Which
was in...
2017, yeah.
But when you sold to Lauder in 95.
In 95, yeah. That was 4 years. I don't remember the sales. It wasn't a lot. Like it wasn't, I don't remember. And my husband and I happen to be partners and best friends with whoever they hired to be their investment banker. He's now on our board, an amazing guy named Gary Furman. He remembers all those numbers. I don't.
But that is phenomenal. But when I was doing a bit of research before this, and it said that you had launched your first 10 lipsticks in 91 and sold to Lauder
in 95.
In 95 for 70. I was like, what? Yeah, that doesn't. That's never happened. Who's ever seen that?
Well, because we weren't for sale. There was a 25 years, so there was, look, I keep my
still phenomenal, right?
Oh, no, it was amazing, and it allowed us to, do incredible things. We have sent probably 15 people to college, my husband and I.
Amazing.
So things like that really matter.
And you remained in the business for 25 years. Did your role...
No, I stayed.
You had a non-compete, for 25 years.
Yeah, 25 years was a non-compete. When I left the brand, I had 4.5 years left on this 25-year non-compete. And that just seemed like forever. I was 59 years old, and I was like, 4.5 years, I can't do beauty. And so I was like, okay. And I just did a whole bunch of things. I fantasized about starting a line of makeup called Unnamed and just not telling anyone it was me. Like, I just
love that. What did you learn from the Bobbi Brown, Estee Lauder days that makes great advice for other entrepreneurs that has sort of been instrumental in what you've gone on to create?
Right. Well, I learned, first of all, working there, how to do things. I never would have, learned about, things like ROIs. And by the time I left, the more important thing is I learned what not to do, what not to waste your time on, what not to waste your energy on, and how not to have so many layers. Like, it was like a big, wedding cake over there. Here's an idea. Oh. By the time it's at the bottom, it's like nothing of the original idea, and it took forever. And I'm
bored. Moved on, you want to do something else.
So here, Now I don't have that cake. I have just, me and one or two people that we talk about it. So it's much more invigorating and fresh.
And how do you feel when you look at Bobbi Brown, the brand?
When I
now?
first left, it was difficult because it was my name, and a lot of the people that I had hired were still there, and that was emotionally hard. But it's been almost 7 years, and I look at it, and it is not the brand that I started or was ever. It's just completely different.
But you did start it.
I did, but it's just not it's just not at all the same brand.
Yeah.
I mean, they might as well call it something else because it doesn't mean anything. But it's amazing how many people know who I am and don't know that I'm no longer with the brand. And we have, trust me, had every article and everything and podcasts and things, and people still associate me with it. And I'm not with the brand anymore. And so whatever the formulas, the colors, I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. I'm sure Joe Malone would say the same thing.
Oh, for sure. And Joe's a friend. And yes, we have had this conversation. And, I give her so much. Joe Malone is,
of course, Estee Lauder as well. Yeah.
Right. And, so now she's Joe Loves.
Yes.
Right. So.
And she's doing brilliantly all over again. It's a phenomenal brand. She's shown she's really got the magic. It's very cool, I think, to see an entrepreneur do that all over again, as are you. We're huge fans of Jones Road at Sherlock's and in my household in particular. Can you talk us through this? Talk us through what you wanted to do so differently when you launched it. So that was 4.5 years after you left.
Yeah. So this October will be 4 years that Jones Road has launched. And we started with just a few products, and during the pandemic, I was developing these products. I had a couple different product development, people. I ended up hiring one of them. She now is the head of, she's basically the COO, runs all the operations, where my son is the CEO. I mean, even though they don't have those titles, that's how best to describe what they do. And
how does that work?
It works really well. If Harvard or Stanford or anyone says we're going to do a business, profile on the two companies, and people would look at this new one and say, nothing that I'm looking at is you would assume would be successful. And Jones Road is so incredibly successful financially, and it's like not the normal. Like we are not the normal company. I don't want to say mom and pop company. We're not, but it's like we're scrappy, we're hands-on. We've opened 6 stores all by ourselves. We have 2 people in the retail department. I have my makeup artist, head of artistry, now she's social media. I'm like, who's running, so it's so much more fun. And we just do it. We don't ask permission. And we do
you think that's fun because you've got the benefit of hindsight?
100%. Yeah. Because I know the rules.
You haven't built a wedding cake and you're not planning to.
Exactly. No, I'm even as we grow, and I can't help it. I don't want to grow as fast as we are, truthfully, but we are.
Can we go back to the mission of Jones Road? What were you in 2020 setting out to create?
I wanted to create makeup that made you look better without looking like you had makeup on. So it was during the pandemic. If you remember, people stopped coloring their hair. I took all those false eyelashes off. I took my hair tape-ins off. I just said, okay, I'm done. No one was really doing anything. And we just started feeling bad, if you remember, during the pandemic. And I was making these little formulas, the Miracle Balm, and I was just putting them on. I'm like, all right, I look better. Like, I feel better. I was doing so many Instagram lives or just talking to people over Zoom. And I'm like, oh my God, that's all I need. Find a good light and do that.
Because it's quite a concise range. And I want to talk about the range. You launched this in 2020.
Right.
Your non-compete at Lauder finished.
Right.
4 years before. You must have been like a caged animal.
Yeah.
Desperately waiting to do this.
I didn't want to launch before the non-compete because I didn't want to take a chance of, I think it would have been fine. They just took the law away in the US. But so we launched.
Has it gone already?
Yeah, it's gone. We launched Jones Road the day my 25-year contract ended. And by the way, every top PR person who I was friends with said, you're making a mistake. Don't do it. No one's going to care. This was a week before the presidential election, right in the middle of, the movement, the Me Too movement, the Black Lives Matter. There was so much social unrest. And what do? I press a button and go live. I did it. And, we launched on the Today Show. They came in, with their masks and did a 7-minute piece on this new company. We had the Wall Street Journal and then a big radio show called Elvis Duran. And then the election happened and then we were off to the races.
And why Jones Road?
Well, I knew I wanted to launch that day. There was nothing going to stop me, but we didn't have a name. Every name we liked, we couldn't get. And my husband said, if you don't pick a name by Monday, this was Friday morning, you're not going to be able to launch, because we couldn't even send it to, a designer to start whatever. So we're driving in our car on the way to the Hamptons, and my husband always has me on Waze and Google Maps, because God forbid we're 3 minutes late to anywhere, even if we have nowhere to go. So we look down and I see Jones Road, and I said, Jones Road Beauty. And my husband said, I like it. I sent a text to my office.
What? Is that where the name came from?
Yeah, there was 2 girls in the office at the time. I had no. I said, Jones Road. They said they love it. We called our lawyer. It was available. So, and in my mind.
That's wild.
But in my mind, when I heard Jones Road, I'm an Anglophile. And I said, this sounds like a bespoke British brand that had been lying dormant. And someone said, Bobbi, what would you do to revive it? And then all my thoughts came to my head. So, and I couldn't use Brown. Jones was a good, solution.
It's great.
So, yeah, that's all.
God, I so didn't expect that answer.
Yeah.
And what was the product line that you launched with?
We launched with 4 Miracle Balms. One
what's here? So we've got listeners and viewers today.
So the Miracle Balm, it is really a miracle product. And the reason it's called Miracle Balm, because when I put it on this tired face, makeupless face, I looked so much better. I said, oh my God, this is a frigging miracle. I probably didn't say frigging, but I'm going to say frigging.
Thank you.
It's a frigging miracle. So I put it on my face and I'm like, oh my gosh. So there was a no color one called Au Naturel, which works for everyone. And it's a skincare. It's a balm made of beautiful oils. It's all clean. It's organic. And then I said, what would happen if we tinted them? So then we had 3 tinted ones, a bronze, a tawny, and a dusty rose. And we launched with 4 of them. We launched with a black mascara, the first ultra black clean mascara. It was important for me to have a clean line. Not that I'm an advocate of traditional makeup. I'm not that person. But how do you start a makeup line that isn't clean in this day and age? I'm a health nut. I have a degree as a health coach, and I eat as organic as possible. So I'm like, of course. And we also launched with 1 pencil, a brown pencil, because that's kind of all you need. And we launched
Is it?
Yeah. Well, no, now we have 6 pencils. But if you have to choose one thing, a brown pencil.
Brown. Can everyone wear the same brown?
Yeah. We only have 1 brown. Why would I do more than 1 brown? We have the greatest brown because it's not red. It's not washed out. It's just like a rich brown.
And the balms. So the tawny, the brown.
Yeah. The bronze.
The bronze and the neutral.
Right. And they were meant for tints to the skin. So they will literally, if you have a lot of red in your skin, the bronze will take the red out. I have very sallow skin. The tawny has a little bit of red in it, so it puts the red back in my skin. The Au Naturel has no color and no shimmer in it. And then the Dusty Rose, which is our it's the number 1 selling product in all of Liberty.
So sorry, this is the number 1 best-selling product in the whole of Liberty Beauty.
Yes, they told me that yesterday. No, not Beauty, Liberty. The whole store.
Bloody hell, that's amazing.
You could use this on your face. You could use it on your lips. You could use it on your body. And whatever's left in my hands, I just gently get the flyaways away. And you could use it on your lips. So I love this. And, right now we have 13 colors.
You have 13 colors in this
we started with 4.
Wow.
And you just kind of go like this. And then you rub it on your hands. I use it everywhere because I have very dry skin. And the neck, which is,
And then where does the foundation go?
The foundation
anywhere?
goes on first. We did not have a foundation when we first launched.
Right.
And after the balms, we launched face pencils. Now, our face pencils, we have 25 shades. They will get rid of any redness on the skin, cover up spots. They're made with a clear base, so they're not ashy. You know, sometimes you put foundation on, it looks like you've got concealer on your face. So those are the pencils. And then the foundation is called What the Foundation. Because when I tried it on my face, I said, not the foundation. I didn't say that right away. And this is...
Oh, oh dear, little spillage.
I'm a
Bobbi's,
makeup artist. It's like, of course I'm used to it. We will get it off. But this is incredible. This product is another one.
This is this is
called What the Foundation. This comes in 16 colors, and you don't need a moisturizer with it.
Look at that.
You put it on. It smells like a spa, and it doesn't dry down into your lines and crevices. And if your skin is oily,
it's so hydrating.
Yeah, it's so, yes. But I have very, 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 very dry skin, and I use it without a moisturizer.
Yes.
And if I need a little moisture, I put it on top.
God, it's lovely. So that's in 16.
Yeah, that's in 16 shades. So.
And what else have we got in the range? So this is another
That's another What the Foundation. That is a gel bronzer. I made that for my dad, who's 89.
For your dad?
Yeah.
He likes a gel bronzer, does he?
He does.
Does he actually?
Oh, yeah. I made it for him.
Stop.
And you could mix it with your moisturizer or use it directly. Ooh. And all Jones Road is kind of meant to smush it together. Use it by itself or smush it together.
And what else have we got?
Oh, we have so much. We have... So these
I'm
are...
sorry if you're listening, but this is the fun bit. I can't resist.
Yeah. This is the newest launch, is the Lippy Stick, which are tinted lip balms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and these feel great on your lips.
I bet they do. They look it.
Yeah, and
everything's got amazing texture, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, I'm a nutcase.
Very different from, am I allowed to say, Bobbi Brown?
Oh, it's totally different, and it's hard for me to describe it. I can only say Jones Road is better. I don't know how to describe the difference. But I think Jones Road is different than anything else on the market, and I always tell people, you either love Jones Road or you don't. So for our next launch is actually, since I travel a lot and I'm always overwhelmed, we created these kits. We have the skincare travel kit and the makeup travel kit. Oh. So, besides I just got the makeup that I put that fell on my pants and now on my hands on the beautiful bag.
It's a great bag.
But it's a great bag. And what comes in there...
Recyclable.
Yeah, is an oil-free moisturizer and a micellar water that only is in the kit. We haven't launched it yet. A cleansing stick, which, by the way, I'm so tired at night. I go like this. I take something and I rub it on. I splash my face and I go to bed. Yeah, those come with it.
Nice.
And the makeup travel kit has a pale gold shimmer gloss,
that's for your lips.
For your lips, has a flushed, which is Pinky Miracle Balm for your cheeks.
That's a mini one of these,
yeah.
Right?
Has a gel bronzer, and there's 2 different skin tones. So this is for the light to medium, and then we have another one for the medium to dark. Has a brown pencil that I spoke about. Has an eyeshadow that you're going to love called Just a Sec. You know why it's called Just a Sec? Because that's how long it takes to put on.
I got it. I got it.
That.
I love that.
You put it on. Yep. And we always have to throw something in exclusive so people say, I have to have it.
Oh, look at
so
you blend it all in with one of those.
Yes. How cute is that travel brush?
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Some people are just meant to be doing this second time around, aren't they?
You know what? It's so much fun. It's unbelievable. I sit with my product development people once a week. It's my favorite meeting. I'm with my creative director twice a week. It's my second favorite meeting. The HR and the finance people I really like.
But it's not your favorite.
It's not my. Well, it is because it's interesting, but it's not the ones I look forward to.
And what are you wearing today of this?
Well, I was on television this morning. So we have these new pencils, the face pencils, but in colors that neutralize darkness under the eye. So I have a neutralizer pencil, a light face pencil under my eyes. I have What the Foundation, and then I have the face pencil to get rid of any darkness. I have a little powder, which I never wear except for TV. I have the Dusty Rose bronzing powder.
Yeah.
And then Miracle Balm on the cheeks and, brown eyeliner, cool brown eyeshadow. And if I remember, I'll throw a lip on.
And so you are 4 years in. You said you've got 6 stores. Where are the stores?
Our first store was in Montclair, New Jersey, where our office is. I also have a hotel in my town, just in case I'm bored. I have something else to walk around, fluff the pillows.
Why not?
So
What's it called?
It's called the George. It's very UK inspired.
Amazing.
Yes, it's very comfortable and eclectic and posh at the same time.
Plenty of cushions for you to fluff then.
Oh yes, there are plenty. And I'm also working on a line of pillows for another brand. We'll see if it works. Nice. Okay, just throwing it in there. So we have Montclair, we have New York City and Greenwich Village, we have East Hampton, we have Palm Beach in Florida, Chicago. So those are all places I will be and visit. And we're opening Brooklyn, where my kids live. So those are 6. Gosh. We have been walking around London, finding our great neighborhoods. We're hopefully going to open 1 store and then eventually have 3, including Liberty.
Amazing.
So, yeah, and then we'll see where else.
It's phenomenal. What have been the pivotal moments? You talked about that 6-page spread in Vogue, the close-ups. What so far have been the moments to Jones Road? I mean, I'm sure Jo Malone would say herself, you still get the buzz, maybe even more so second time around when it happens again, because you feel so lucky that it's happening again. What have been some of those moments?
Well, I definitely get the buzz, and the profiles in all the financial magazines and newspapers are pretty cool. I was on the cover of Inc. magazine this month. Like, I was always in the beauty press, and now I'm getting known for being an entrepreneur businesswoman, which is really nice.
Talk to us a little bit more about
our new campaign.
Tell me.
I'm really proud of this. This is our campaign. It's our new campaign, but it is the building blocks of Jones Road. It's called I Am Me. And what it really means is, don't tell me to be different. I am me. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, you are you, you are you, you are you, you are you. And I am me. You can't be me. I can't be you.
But that comes with age and wisdom and life experience.
And someone giving you permission to do so.
Yeah.
Like, I was blessed with 3 sons and not daughters. But now I know my granddaughter, Lily's going to be a very different kind of girl because her mother's a strong woman. My mother, when I was growing up, she didn't tell me that I'm fine the way I am. She always told me that I could be better.
Yeah.
Which is good too. But you know what? Sometimes it's okay to be who you are.
Yeah, be you, and
so
be true to you.
Yeah.
But I do think, you go through your teenage years, your 20s.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I was saying something yesterday, said it's not until you're 30 that you can really start to understand who you are.
Yeah, I don't think you're right. I don't think you know at 30. I don't think you know.
No, I
at
don't
30.
think you know.
I think
until
40. I think 40.
But someone said you can't even begin to say you understand yourself.
You can't. And I'm so much better at 67 than I ever was at 37. And certain, 47, I was so young. I mean, I was really young at 47. And in my, 50s, I couldn't believe I was going to be 60. I mean, and you know what? I want to be part of the narrative that changes the aging process. Yeah. That it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Yeah. It's a good thing. Yeah. And I want everyone to kind of realize there's nothing you can't do at any age. Yeah. You could shift, you could pivot, and you could accomplish great things.
So you would say to people listening, keep going, keep going. You've said yourself you're only just getting started with this.
Stop complaining, number one, and stop making excuses. Oh, I can't. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Whatever it is, you can.
Any other life lessons, rules you swear by, you live by?
I mean,
it's a cliche question, but
I know, but so many. I mean, honestly, number one is be nice. I don't tolerate people that aren't nice.
Oh man, I agree entirely. Yeah.
So be nice and don't be afraid to say, I don't understand what you're saying, or what are you talking about? It's okay. You don't have to pretend that you know, and just be authentic and be authentically you. And if something doesn't work out, it's okay. Do something different.
Great advice from a total legend. I can really feel the innovation, the creativity, and how unique it is. And anyway, we will keep supporting and watching, and look
thank
forward to
you.
the 3 stores that are coming.
Thank you. And
London.
from one businesswoman to another, congratulations to you and what you've done and what you've built.
That is hugely generous.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because you're not quite in America yet, but everyone knows about you. So, right?
We'll see.
Breaking news, people.
No. I don't know how much chaos one person can cope with, but you know. And that says it all, doesn't it? That's it for today. If you enjoyed that, then do please rate, review, subscribe. Tell your friends to listen to. What a brilliant episode. What an amazing woman. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.